Hey vibers, welcome back to our channel. Today I want to talk to you guys or share with you guys a manifestation story. So grab a cup of tea or coffee or wine, whatever, and join me for a little bit of story time. So today I want to talk to you guys about how I manifested free unlimited yoga into my reality right now here in my new home in Long Beach. It happened pretty fast. It didn't take much time. Pretty much as soon as I got settled and I said, all right, Spirit, I'm ready to work, then the opportunity kind of just fell into my lap. So I'm gonna start at the beginning. One of the main things with manifestation, one of the main rules, one of the main tools of manifestation is knowing your why. Knowing why you are resonating with something, why you want to call some sort of experience, whatever it is, into your life. So my why with yoga, and it started with my first yoga class. So I was at Howard. I was still a student in undergrad. I graduated in 2009 to give you some reference for how long ago this was. And my first yoga class was actually at some event. It was in an auditorium, and at the end of the yoga class, the last thing, you laid on the mat and everyone fell asleep. And that was literally the first time that I had participated in a physical activity that stretched me out in beautiful ways. It felt so good, and then relaxed me to the point of me falling asleep in an auditorium. Now, I can kind of sleep anywhere, but that was still very eye-opening for me. It was a beautiful experience. So from there, obviously I needed to know more about yoga. So as the years went by, I took some classes, found different studios, and I really it always stuck with me. I always just loved and thoroughly enjoyed yoga, but I did kind of start to get a little bit bored and kind of disconnected from it, from going to the classes. So that's when I started looking up yoga on YouTube. So I found a few YouTube yogis that I resonated with and started doing their routines for a couple of years, and then kind of realized that I was stuck again. Like I was bored again with yoga, but still it really resonated with me. I love the stretching. I was dancing in high school and a little bit as a kid as well, and a little bit in college, so I was always kind of into movement and body work, and I'm also a Reiki healer now, so body work is just kind of my jam. But yoga always kind of stuck with me just because of the stretching aspect. It just feels so good, and I love the idea of always being flexible, always being limber, always being, super aware of what's going on with your body, and being able to jump into some kind of physical activity or stretch to kind of help you release some energy and stretch it out and feel a lot better. And it's also very relaxing when you get the right combination of stretches. Your whole body can be super relaxed. And so as I started getting bored with YouTube, I started my own intuitive yoga practice at home. And just with a yoga app, looking up different moves that might resonate with me, I just kind of switch it up to whatever I need to do. And if I'm feeling brave and I really want to try a new yoga pose, then I can do that. And because of the app that I use, I think it's called Poses, or I think it's called Yoga Poses. It's very simple. But because I use that app, they have videos showing you how to get into each and every position that they have cataloged on the app. So I can take my time, I have instruction, and I don't feel like I'm just out here twisting my body in ways that it doesn't need to twist. So I'm actually following instructions. So that's my disclaimer here. Don't be up here doing the headstands and stuff when you know you're not ready. Just say all that to say that was my yoga journey. That is how I got connected with it and how I've stayed connected with it. But I always knew, maybe about, at least for the last 5 years, I've known that it's really important for me to deepen my yoga practice by finding a studio and by completing a yoga teacher training. So knowing your why, definitely really important for manifesting anything into your reality. And so my why for yoga has basically been building for the last 10 or 11 years. So it's not necessary to know your why for 10 or 11 years before you can manifest something, but that's just to show you that sometimes something can be slowly building in you, and you don't even realize how much power is behind it until you ask for something, and boom, it shows right up exactly when you need it. So I've been building on this yoga manifestation power for a very long time. So this manifestation story definitely started in DC when I was still living back on the East Coast. I knew that I wanted to complete a yoga teacher a yoga teacher training program. I knew I wanted to complete a YTT program, I'm going to say that from now on, but I did know that I was going to have to move or travel or something, get out of the East Coast in order to complete this training. That's just what resonated with me. Just so everyone knows out there, yoga teacher training usually runs at around $3,000. It really kind of shows your dedication. If it's something that you really want, then you will come up with ways to make this happen in your reality, right? So I actually did have to do some money healing work and release, that price tag, or feeling shocked by $3,000, wondering where I was going to get that from, or whether or not it was a investment that was worth making. Obviously yes, but there was a little bit of work that I had to do around there to heal my shock with that sticker price. And then I had to also open up my energy to maybe there's a way that I can get a discount or get this done for free, or I don't know what's out there, but universe, this is definitely something that I still want, so bring it on. I kept kind of calling it into my life, just running into different ways that people have gone through the program, running into people in life who were doing the program themselves, and just finding more information tidbits here and there that kept me interested, kept it, kind of at the forefront of my mind, and knowing that it was still coming. So that's another thing about manifesting, is just knowing when there are still signs. Even if it's a long ways away, there can still be little signs on the way. Maybe meeting someone who is aligned with the same thing that you are looking to align with. That's a sign that you are aligning with that thing. At this point, I don't know when or where I was going to take this yoga training, but I knew that it was going to happen in my life, and I knew that I would still be young while it was happening. So there's a lot of other things that I was really trying to manifest at the same time. I was also trying to figure out where my career was going and what I wanted in life. So this was before I even quit my job. So I really didn't know how everything was going to align, but I knew that yoga was important. I wanted to be a yoga teacher, and at some point I would be in a yoga teacher training, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. So sometimes that's really all you need to manifest, knowing your why, knowing where you want to end up, and knowing, the feeling that you're going to have when you get there. And that's a pretty good mix of tools to manifest with, and that's basically what I had. So fast forward a few years later, more recently, sister-in-law actually manifests yoga into her reality. She shared with our family, hey guys, I got this new opportunity. I've started working at this yoga studio, and they're giving me free yoga for working there. I had no idea that that was a thing. I didn't know that you could just work at the studio or work at the front desk in exchange for free yoga. So knowing that was a thing, that was kind of the last missing piece to my puzzle of manifesting this experience into my life. I knew I wanted to strengthen my yoga practice, join a yoga studio, but I knew that I didn't really want to have to pay for every single class, because that can get pretty pricey. Call me cheap, whatever. It's pretty expensive, and I already had my intuitive yoga practice at home, so I was really kind of comfortable and didn't really want to start setting aside a budget to take classes on a regular basis. This opportunity that my sister-in-law was now talking about sounded like the perfect opportunity for me to grow my yoga practice, find some people who love yoga and hang around them on a more regular basis, learn more about yoga, immerse myself in the community, find out if I'm really about it, if I'm really dedicated enough to take a $3,000 yoga teacher training, and maybe even get some money shaved off that as well, right? So affirm it. That's definitely what I want. As soon as she said it, I got so excited. I just felt this joy rise up in me, and that's kind of, one of the major signs that you have now heard or seen or aligned with something that really resonates with your spirit. So I knew that that position really resonated with my spirit, and I knew, okay, when I move to California, when I move to Long Beach, I want to make sure that I'm finding a yoga studio that I can make my yoga home, and hopefully I will be able to also manifest this whole work steady option thing in there. That would be dope. Right before I moved to Long Beach, a couple of weeks before I left, the same girl that I went to high school with, that started her yoga journey and really inspired me, with her journey, and she's actually opened up a studio recently. That girl actually came out to Long Beach, to the city that I'm moving to, and went to a yoga studio and basically put her whole stamp on it. Just raved about it on Instagram and shared pictures and shared like the workshop that she went to and how she had such a great time there and how much she loved this studio. And so I followed the studio. And once I moved to Long Beach, I can check out this studio that she was talking about, see if I kind of vibe with it, see what's going on, what have you. So we moved to Long Beach in May. We get here in the beginning of May, and I kind of just decided that May was just going to be my month of recalibration, where I just get used to being in California and not being in DC anymore. I just moved all the way across the country, so May was really the month for me to get better at being patient with myself and giving myself space to balance out. So that was May for me, and I decided that June was going to be when I really started to plant my feet in the ground and figure out how I was going to flow here, how my work is going to flow, what my schedule is going to be, what kind of jobs am I going to pick up, am I going to find a yoga studio to, deepen my practice and go to yoga every week, what about my Reiki healing, what about this, what about that. So I really decided to just place that in June, and hopefully that will work itself out and come together perfectly at some point. And so that's kind of exactly what's been happening. And pretty much once I started, working with my schedule, doing my yoga every morning, that's kind of exactly when I saw the posting from that same yoga studio. They finally posted that they were ready for a new work study. They had an open shift, and if anybody wanted to work at the studio in exchange for unlimited yoga, to just DM them for more details. So this was pretty much exactly what I've been asking for, and it was kind of a moment of, oh my God, my magic is working right now, and it was so obvious and so clear and so amazing. I love these moments of manifestation. When you realize that now is the moment, like this is the moment that you've been calling for, that you've been visualizing, this is going to help you get there to that final, like sitting behind that yoga desk, feeling all zenned out, waiting for the next class to start, and just loving the fact that I can come in here anytime I want and take a class for free. Oh, that just feels so good. So I just knew that the only thing standing in between where I was now and who I really wanted to be at that yoga studio behind that desk, or at that yoga studio at my class, was my willingness to reach out at that very moment and make sure that my interest was known. So because I had just had a pep talk with one of my friends the other day, like a few days before this happened, it was really fresh in my mind that I was now entering a time in my life where it's really important for me to be action energy based. I'm a big planner. I spent a lot of time planning, and I've also spent a lot of time hiding behind my plans in fear and not actually stepping into them and doing the work to call those experiences, those plans into my reality. And so since I was fresh off that conversation, luckily it happened right on time, I was very much empowered and confident in reaching out, explaining my yoga story briefly and my connection with yoga, and saying, I would really love this opportunity. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. A few days went by. I was kind of worried a little bit, I won't lie. It was kind of like waiting by the phone again. It was cute. And they finally got back to me, and she said, great, these are all of the perks that you get, and it was way more perks than I expected. I can actually take a yoga class during my shift, one yoga class during my shift, and then unlimited yoga classes and workshops throughout the week. And I also do get a little bit of a discount on my yoga teacher training. That's pretty exciting. So now everything that I asked for, being able to deepen my yoga practice by joining a community, joining a studio, and I don't have to pay for any of these classes. And it's all in exchange for 4 hours a week at the front desk, one of which I will be in a yoga class. So it's pretty amazing. So I share this story, one, because I love sharing manifestation stories. Hopefully you guys like to hear them. It gives you more confidence to go back into your manifestation plans and really maybe shift some things around, do what you need to do in order to stay focused or stay positive or stay hopeful or stay visualizing of the things that you want to call into your life. I can proudly say that because I was bold in that moment, because I did not hide behind fear, because I was not timid, and because I knew what I wanted and when I wanted it, I was ready to jump on that opportunity as soon as it was presented to me. And I can definitely honestly say that there have been plenty of opportunities in the past that I have let myself, miss out on because I was too afraid to speak up, or didn't feel like I was good enough, or didn't feel like I knew enough. So this was just a little manifestation story to give you proof of the process. It works as long as you know your why. So if you are having trouble manifesting an experience or a career into your life, make sure you know your why, and also be patient, because this might be a career that doesn't exist yet. You might have to make your own title and make your own way, create your own path. It might not be something that you have to work so hard after. Maybe it's just a matter of having the right conversation with the right person at the right time, and that's not even something you can plan. That's just you living your life, right? Make sure you watch Christine and Erica's last video. It was definitely all about how to manifest the right career for you. Happy manifesting. Bye, vibers.